You want to sit?
If you want, yeah.
Oh, it's just easier.
Oh, God.
Yeah, of course. Where are you guys from?
We're from Quebec City.
Awesome.
The radio show is called Prescription Punk Rock.
Cool.
On CKRL 89.1. It's the first francophone radio station. They have the government radio station called Radio-Canada.
Right.
But outside that, it's the first, like, non-mainstream radio station.
Right.
So we got a lot of subventions for keeping do it. So it's really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Is there a thing in Quebec where there has to be a certain percentage of French language?
Yes.
Like in France?
Yeah, they call it quota. We have to play, like for an hour of the show, I have 2 hours, I have to play like 2 songs in French.
Cool.
But they take interview as a song. So if I do interview like 10 or 15 minutes, I just did my...
Yeah.
But we naturally doing that because we have such
I
a
think
beautiful
it's important to do that. I mean, I don't like having a rule, but I think it's rad to play French stuff.
Yeah.
Because this is part of the deal. You know?
And you play a lot of French band out there, like I think Les Vulgaires Machins play with you guys, and it's cool because it's really different. So Brian, whenever you're ready, I'm gonna introduce you.
I'm ready.
You're fucking ready. This is DJ Punkcast Bed, my friend. Welcome to our Quebec radio show, Prescription Punk Rock. I'm gonna introduce yourself.
I am Brian Baker. I play guitar in Bad Religion.
Brian, welcome back to Quebec, Bad Religion. You know, you never forget about us.
No, because Quebec is an amazingly great place to play. And every city, Quebec City we play, Montreal we play. We've done a bunch of other ones, like ones out in the country. It's just, there's this vibe here that's awesome. It's really, it's just unique. And we love coming here.
It's cool to hear because there's so many bands that go, we love you, Quebec, and everything, and we don't feel they really, think about it. But, it's beautiful to hear that, it means a lot to be.
I think a lot of bands don't really understand the difference between Quebec and Canada. And so that's a big problem right there. It's like we've been playing for so long, we've had so much life experience, we get it. And so you get to see really how amazingly different. I mean, how can you compare Quebec to Manitoba? It's 2 different countries entirely. Yeah, Manitoba's got its thing too, but it's a different thing.
I don't know. It's the culture and everything. It's really different. But I think we're kind of conquer people. If you take the history of Quebec, it was England that came here and conquer, and but we all don't have that mentality of being proud.
Yeah.
Like in the USA, where you see flags of the US and everything. In Quebec, it's more quiet.
Yeah. Well, that's probably because you have more class than the US. Yeah,
but Trudeau is not that, he's not a great gentleman dude.
If you want to compare, I think that you're getting the better end of the deal, my friend.
Yeah, with what I see right now, it's just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, all I can say at this point is that I'm very lucky I have no children, and when they blow the world up in 30 years, I will have finished my journey with Bad Religion. I mean, it's really come down to that. Like, I'm so outraged and so angry that it's flipped into this acquiescence, which is also dangerous. But at least we have our music, which is still vigilant about pointing out the hypocrisy.
Yeah, it's a sad joke, but we were doing that joke because, now Trump's elected, we're going to have some great punk rock.
Yeah, it's a shame it had to come that way, but there has been some great punk rock because of it. So maybe his legacy will be the same as Reagan's. We should wish it should be the same as Reagan's. He would, there would just be it would just be fascism, but not right in your face. It would be quiet fascism, like you can lie to me, but don't tell me you're lying to me. Can you just make an effort of any kind, please?
Yeah, it's the new way of fascism.
Yeah, it's shocking, and
it pissed me off. I get really angry, and just at that point that I don't want to hear it anymore. And I think that's where it's working for them. They get you so mad that you just fucking disconnect yourself.
I agree with you, and that is in fact the goal, is to make it so overwhelming and constant that you lose touch with reality, and that you just kind of turn off. And despite my joking, like I can't turn off from real issues.
Thank you for that.
I can stop looking at my Twitter feed, but the inside will never change. It will never turn off.
You guys, it's crazy. You're gonna turn 40 years old as Bad Religion. The new record is amazing. What challenged you guys for still, keeping doing it after all those years?
We do it because we like it and it's fun. It's fun to play music. We are a family. We love each other. We're all very grateful that we even get to do this. And I think that that's a big factor as to why we've managed to last so long. That this is not a job. This is not like trying to be famous. This is not, working out issues that you had as a child. And this is us doing what we love to do most. And we only do it as, it's even that. We don't play 200 shows a year because that wouldn't be fun. You know what's fun? Going places we love, playing 60 shows a year, spending the rest of the time with the family. It's beautiful.
Anything you've done too much, you get tired of it, and you lost the magical thing about it. But just doing it enough to keep the magic going, it's such a beautiful challenge.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's just finding that balance. Because if it's not fun, we're not going to do it. I mean, this whole thing is supposed to be an artistic expression and enjoyable for the artist. The fans matter, but it's really, honestly, it's really about what do we want to do? How do we want to do it? And so far, we've managed to strike that balance, and here we are 40 years later.
You don't do a band and when you joined Bad Religion, I'm sure you were like, if I'm there next year, it's cool. You don't think 20 years later.
No, never. You never think more. I always think a year at a time because you never know. You just don't know.
It's crazy. One thing I love about you guys, everywhere you play, you always bring new generation of band and play with local band. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago you played in Chicoutimi and you play with a local band from Quebec called Still Insane, which changed the life and the way we can't do it with those bands, and they play with no effects after that. It's crazy. Is it something that was natural for you to do, or was it something that you said we're gonna bring band and we're gonna help them?
Oh no, it's totally natural because that's what we did. We were that band. We were the band in Chicoutimi. We were like, a bigger band would put us on the show, and it changes everything. And also, it's about engaging with the local community. I mean, anybody can roll up with a package tour of all your punk favorites, but I think it's a lot more significant, especially in a non-festival environment. You should be tapping what's happening in town. And sometimes there's great bands, and sometimes they aren't great. But everyone remembers it, and everyone in those bands will remember that for the rest of their lives.
And I always said, when you have success with your band, just shaking a hand of somebody, of fans, can change his life.
Absolutely, and that's
powerful.
Well, yeah, and we are totally aware of this, and that's why you cannot for a minute lose that gratitude and understand that we would not be here, I would not be talking to you if it weren't for the people who have found something special about our band and how it's related to them. And it's not, this is not a fad, and we're not a pop band. I mean, we're working in a world where we're trying to have a message, and when that message hits somebody, it's so powerful. And I'm really, I'm glad to deliver.
Congratulations for that. Brian, you were involved in the scene since you were young. A lot have changed. How you find the scene right now?
Well, it's hard because the scene is not where I live. I moved recently, and I lived in Washington, D.C., where I'm from, for 40 years. And I kind of stopped going to shows in D.C., but I moved to a small town in New Jersey by the Jersey Shore. I moved right near my friends, the Bouncing Souls. I'm sure you know those guys. And when I moved to this new town, I'm like, I want to start going to shows. And I started going to these basement shows, and a friend of mine puts on these shows in the back of this old brewery that holds 100 people. And I've been back into going to things, and it's just like when I was 15. It's a complete different world that nobody knows about except the people involved. It's like Ask a Punk. There's no advertising. It's just to see, and every band is different. It's not like everyone's straight edge or everyone's hardcore. You get all this different stuff. And I really enjoy going to shows again. And that's probably just moving out of my big city into this small town. It's like, whoa, is here too. So
Yeah, because I went to Washington D.C. It's such a big town and everything, and really political. And I don't feel that people where they were like, they were working and after works they leave. They go like to Maryland, or they leave like the center of Washington. So it's get really quiet and boring.
well, I don't know how long it's been since you've been there, but we've had a population explosion, and now there's people everywhere.
Oh, it's more than 14 years.
Yeah. No, now it's there's way too many people there, and they live everywhere, and that's kind of why, a big part of why I left. It wasn't my city anymore. When I grew up there, it was like a small southern town, and exactly like you said, people come to work and go away, and they leave Washington for us. It's not for us anymore, unfortunately.
Brian, thank you so much for your time. Montreal, Quebec City, it's your second home, and it's every time you came, it's always so fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Great talking to you.
And thank you for changing the lineup every time, because there's a lot of people that follow you, and doing the same song and everything. You get but you change the lineup.
Yeah, because we know people are going to more than one show. So we want to play different things every night. I mean, of course, we got to play Digital Boy and American Jesus because we're not crazy. Those are big songs that
You didn't play it.
Yeah, but changing a bunch of stuff every night is fun for us. It's not just being cool to the fans. It's like sometimes we'll put something in that we didn't practice, that we haven't played in like a year. And just
doing an Into the Unknown songs?
Like we're playing an Into the Unknown song.
What the hell?
Because it's fun.
Yeah. It's challenging.
It's challenging, it's fun, and the 4 people in the audience that get it go, oh my God, they're playing the dichotomy. That's so crazy. And the other
type of guy.
Yeah, and the other people don't understand why we sound like Pink Floyd all of a sudden.
Brian, thank you. Before we leave, I told you play with Still Insane in Chicoutimi. It's the birthday of the singer. Can you do me an ID just saying, hi Eric, happy birthday, this is Brian from Bad Religion. He will freak out.
Eric? Yeah. Hey, Eric, it's Brian Baker from Bad Religion, or, well, Minor Threat, depending on what you like better. I hear it's your birthday. Have a great one.
Thank you so much. Brian, you're the best. Can we take a picture real quick?